Daniel.
Hello.
Hello
Welcome
there.
in. Welcome into my cavern of delights. I've decided to call it. It's enough bias.
Series rename.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bias review.
It's
Andrew.
one of them. Bias
Okay,
review.
well.
Should we roll the intro, Daniel?
Stumbling on. Well, no, because we don't do that in this series.
Should we roll it anyway?
Well, it's already rolled. You've seen it.
Just go back and roll it again. It's all right. Welcome, everyone. This is a biased review of Tekken 3.
Tekken Trez.
Which is our
the third Tekken.
Favourite Tekken game.
And say favourite, it's the only one I've had. So that's mainly why.
Well, it's my favourite. And Daniel's only had 3. So
yeah, I've only been allowed the third installment.
It's a partial bias review.
Yes.
But
well, I am biased to this game. I've got no opinions on the others.
So, why don't you kick us off, Daniel?
What, my first impressions?
Yeah. Yeah, first
Going
impressions.
Well. First impressions of Tekken 3. It was, I think, like the third game I ever owned on PS1. Oh, actually, I don't know what was the third one. It was around the third one. I just remember it. I remember owning Rayman 2 first. It came with PS1.
Yeah.
And then I think I bought like, what was it? Tomb Raider 3, Tekken 3.
Yeah.
And then I think
all the
Driver
3s.
2. These are like my first few
you're
games.
now.
Yeah, I know. I went back to 2. Well, it's Rayman 2, and then 2 third installments, and then back to a second installment. But yeah, I don't know why. I think I just like the cover. Like I didn't know anything about the game. I vaguely understood it was a fighting game. I was like, oh, this is cool. I don't think I even played it before I got it. Don't think. It's just one of those ones where, you know, when you're in the shop back in the day, you just see a box and you think, oh, that looks really cool. I'll get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wasn't very good. And I'm still not very good. Because
But you enjoyed it, that's the main thing, Daniel.
I did. I mean, I beat the story modes and stuff. I remember just loving all the characters because the cast of characters was like really like out there and diverse. Just like really like ridiculous over the top characters. And I was like, oh, this is awesome, I love it. And I was really into my like martial art movies, so I was like, oh, this is badass. I liked how they're all like most fighting games are based off like real martial arts. So I was like, oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like the martial art with the space ninja samurai uses. What's for true to life. And yeah, I was just hooked. I wasn't so hooked where I buy future installments, but I really like this one.
Yeah.
And I played the hell out of it. I remember like not even like unlocking all the stuff like until like years later when I went back to it and I found out about like Dr. Boskanovich and some.
Yeah.
Just reading about it like a magazine guide and being like, oh yeah, because I could never get far in like Tekken Force mode. So
no,
very
really
much one of those.
Hard.
It was very much one of those early games you just buy for the sake of it and have a bloody good time and just really enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's my first impressions of it. I think I bought it from Woolworths as well.
Just to add that in there.
Yeah, that was tradition back in the day. You'd like save some money and be like, oh, you've got 20 quid to spend on something. I'm like, well, I'll get this game back when games used
I'm
to
going to
quid.
Woolworths.
Woolworths. I think it was was cheaper as well because it was like the old the greatest hits ones, or what the silver ones called.
The platinum.
The platinum ones, yeah, that's it. Pokemon Platinum.
Yeah.
What are your first impressions of Tekken 300?
Well, me and Adam we weren't like big fighting game lovers, but we had fighting games like obviously Mortal Kombat. Yes. We it sounded really weird down my headphones then. We played a lot of Mortal Kombat, and we played some others. And our first experience with Tekken was we were on holiday, and there was an arcade machine for Tekken 2, and we really liked it.
I might have seen Tekken 3 in an arcade. That might have been where I was influenced, but it was so long ago. Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
I do remember seeing them in arcades a lot.
But we yeah, it was just like, it was the only arcade machine in the hotel was just Tekken 2, and we were like really enjoyed it. We were like, oh wow, this is really cool. And then Adam came up with all this like fake lore for it because he thought he was cool.
Lies.
Yeah, lies basically. It was like, oh yeah, King is like, because King's level was in a church in 2,
yeah.
And he was like, oh, he's like he's got a deformity, so he has to wear a mask in the church, and that's why he's in the church. So it was basically like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but Adam was basically saying,
but with King,
but with a you know, like a jaguar mask on.
Jaguar-headed wrestler, yeah, of course. That classic tale.
But we didn't know it was a wrestler though, so that Adam was just like, you know, because then obviously there was like Roger and Alex and stuff in that as well. But then, like years later, because it was a really long time later, it was after Mum and Dad got divorced, because we got it for Christmas. So it was a very long time ago. I can't remember when this actually came out. 98. So yeah, it would have been the 98. So it was the year after they got divorced, because they got divorced in 97.
Because they got
and
divorced.
Adam was just going on. Adam was going on about it for a really long time, and the holiday we went on it, I think it was either 95 or 96, so that was a big gap between Tekken 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And then Adam just kept going on about it, and then Dad got it us for Christmas, and I just remember us, like, we went afterwards, because we always have like family down, so me and Adam would just go back upstairs, and we would start playing it, and I was watching him play it, and he started with Paul, and he got all the way through to the last boss, and he couldn't kill it, and then he went to the bathroom, and like I just picked it up and just like did it like straight away.
Absolutely did it in.
But I just remember being like blown away, because obviously this was like our first own Tekken game that we would play in, and it was just so different from 2.
Yeah.
And just like there was like all these new characters. We're like, who are all these characters and stuff? And we didn't really quite understand what was going on. And then we sort of started figuring out as we go on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my first impressions of it. I picked it up, got it at Christmas, and I really enjoyed it. It was very, it was interesting seeing all the differences in the designs of the returning characters as well.
Yeah. Had you played any fighting games before?
Yes, I said that.
Apart from Tekken 2.
Oh, you weren't listening.
Oh no, I wasn't.
I was a big Mortal Kombat fan, Daniel, like growing up.
Oh yeah. Come on, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, we
I was just thinking of. I was just thinking.
Like, yeah.
I was thinking of Street Fighter, and I was like, oh, Zandy, ever played Street Fighter? Completely ignoring.
Yeah, I have played Street Fighter. We played Street Fighter 2. And then Adam, just so before we get back into this, Adam, like, we were in Spain again, and we went to an arcade, a proper one, and there was Street Fighter 2, and Adam, like, drew in this crowd because he was, like, beating it, and there was, like, 50 people watching him play it.
Drew in this crowd. All the local Spanish children gathered around.
Yeah.
And cheered him on.
Because he was playing as the Spanish character as well, so, like, they were just all, like, freaking out.
Oh, pandering to the crowd. And that's the year that Adam was named president of Spain. Just carried on the shoulders to like the mayor's house.
So that's our first impressions of
first impressions. Premise of the game, Andrew.
Huh?
The outline premise.
Oh, okay. All I heard was. So I was like, oh, okay. The overall premise of it was that it was the King of Iron Fist tournament.
That's the one. King of Iron Fist.
And it was a tournament that was like put out every so many years. I don't know if it just happened to, I don't know how many years there was between like 1 and 2 and then 2 and 3. Well, actually, I do know the difference between 2 and 3 is 19 years, but
Jesus.
I don't think that was the gap between 1 and 2. So I don't know why they waited so long for the new one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because for us, obviously, it was only a few years, but in universe, it was a very long time. And it's always run by Heihachi.
Yeah.
And he's always like runs it
In his big evil corporation.
in his big evil corporation, and they get like, I don't know what I think they obviously must get money and stuff, but like,
So yeah, what is the prize?
but a lot of it is just like his son trying to take over the business sort of thing, and then his son's got something wrong with it.
Yeah.
he's got the
Something
devil
wrong with
gene.
Got the disease.
Yeah. So that's the overall premise of the game, is that like it's just a fighting tournament that his Heihachi set up, and people
it's
from
like
around the world.
I feel like the free like Mortal Kombat was always a fighting tournament. Well, at the start, and then Street Fighter was a fighting tournament.
Yeah.
There's a theme. It's a fighting game theme.
Yeah, it was a big thing in fighting games, especially in that time period.
Because Tekken did it, but it wasn't. It like the tournament itself wasn't. I mean, it might have started more as the focus, but as the series went on, it just was sort of a background thing of all the bullshit that was happening.
Yeah, especially with the more recent ones. Like, I haven't played any of them past 6. I think I played 6.
Yeah.
I didn't play 4, but I played 5 and I played 6. Then I didn't play 7 or 8. Yeah, it's just sort of like something that they do, and then you get prizes or you get whatever you want as your victory if you win it.
Yeah, based on the endings, I think.
I think Kazuya won the first one. Officially won the first one, and then Heihachi won the second one.
Yeah.
Even though he runs it.
Well, yeah, he's like the most.
Because Kazuya was the last boss in 2, and then he turned into Devil, and then canonically he gets thrown into a volcano.
Yeah.
By Heihachi, because he's got the Devil gene.
I mean, he just loves it. He just loves throwing people into volcanoes.
Which probably brings us on to the story, Daniel, of Tekken 3.
well, there's gameplay next.
Oh, is it? Well, gameplay.
Yeah. Yes.
It brings us on to the gameplay of Tekken 3. It's just your standard, like, beat 'em up, 3D beat 'em up, isn't it? And you can move, like, it was one... Did 2 do it? I think you could, like, sort of go up and down in 2, but it was sort of... I feel like it was very much on one plane. I don't remember it turning, or you being able to dodge it, like, towards or away from the camera.
Yeah, like, left or right sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like... Oh, excuse me. I remember, like, the big thing about Tekken was always that you could, like, dodge, like, left and right. Like, not just left and right, like, in the 2D, like, you were facing, but, like, towards and back.
Yeah, if you were
like
looking at it from your eyes, you could move
like,
to the left of someone or to the right of someone,
like,
and then you had moves like that only worked from the side. You could throw someone and it'd be different if it was from the side. And obviously you had the combos, and it was all about like learning combos. Some of them were a lot easier than others. Yoshimitsu had some of the easiest combos ever, and I still remember them now.
Yeah. I remember trying to learn them, and I was terrible at learning them because I could never remember all the combinations.
Yeah, Yoshimitsu's were just really easy. So like it was just like square, triangle, square, circle, 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 square, 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 and that was it. It was just like, oh, okay. That does a lot of damage.
Would have like an unblockable attack, wouldn't they? That like
they had unblockables, and then you had the throws, the different throws. Yoshimitsu had a really cool one that only worked from the side, and when I discovered it, I was like, oh my god, that's the best thing ever. And he'd split into 2, and there'd be like a spirit sort of like phantom version of him, and like he'd stab them, they'd fall back, and the other one would grab him like by the feet and throw him over him, and then he'd grab it and pull himself back together again. I was like,
what a guy.
It's like, what is this?
This is magical land. Yoshimitsu. Yeah, he does have like the really cool ones because he's like I think the only character with I was gonna say the only character with weapon, but I'm sure like did Brian like pull out a gun? I know Gunjack used gun arms at some point, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Gunjack's only in 3.
Yeah.
So he, yeah.
But I mean,
like
his character shot out of his arms. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he had a move where you could just like do like basically a bullet punch, and like the wrists, like the big part of it would like move up and down like a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yoshimitsu is the only one with a sword. No one else.
Yes.
Everyone else is just like fighting styles, and so like Kunimitsu did, but she wasn't in 3.
He mainly punched them holding the sword. To be fair.
Yeah, he did.
But then he'd use it in
only,
like special attacks.
Yeah, and he had like the Moonsault Slayer and stuff, which was amazing. You could like kill like it was kind of broken, to be honest. If you timed it perfectly and got it right, you could take out at least like 90% of their health if you hit all 3 hits of it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
chain it together. I know, I was watching like some playthroughs of it, and it's just like a lot of them were like doing perfect runs. I was like, well, I don't want to use perfect run footage because it looks boring. But yeah, they're using like the proper like signature moves to like do crazy combos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
But gameplay wise, it's just very. It's different, especially for that era, because a lot of them were 2D fighters, whereas this was a 3D fighter. There was only this, and there was probably others out there, but the main ones I knew of were this and like Soul Blade.
Yeah, I think Virtua Fighter was the first big 3D one.
Oh yeah, Virtua Fighter. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Tekken,
considering I owned it.
Tekken, and because Virtua Fighter's always been like the pure like fighting game, like that's like you've really got to know like your like button inputs and like timing and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like really hard to like master sort of thing. But then other games became more like arcadey, like Tekken and Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they were the more fun versions of Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, because we had Virtua Fighter. It's really weird when you got Virtua Fighter because it was just essentially just a direct port from the arcade.
Yeah.
So even like on like when you were just playing on 1 player above the 2 player, it's still like insert coin. It was like, okay, no.
Yeah, it still has that on the Tekken game. I was thinking.
Yeah.
Insert coin, just like okay. Because I think they did port a lot of these ones, and then like adapt them.
Yeah, they added all like the arcade endings and stuff. I know it's like I can't remember. I think wasn't it like 10 fights?
I think so.
Going on to like. Obviously, that's probably more stages. Like a mode thing, but it's still part of like gameplay. And it was obviously like as many rounds as you set it to. Usually, default it was 2.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have the timer, and then you just like it's just a standard fight in game, but in 3D.
But in 3, they also introduced the volleyball game.
Yeah, Tekken Ball.
Which was it called Tekken Ball?
Yeah.
It sounds so basic.
Yeah, Tekken Ball, and then in Tekken Tag there was Tekken Bowl.
I know, Tekken Ball. Yeah, it's basically you're basically using your fighting moves, and you're basically hitting the ball over the net. You have to
it was a great little mode. I loved it. It was really hard, but I loved it.
It was really hard. I remember playing it a lot. Being like, oh shit.
And then you had Tekken Force, which was
Tekken Force,
like
Streets of Rage, Andrew. Yeah,
it was, and there was chicken. There was only 4 levels. It should have been like its own thing, really. But
yeah, in my head it was a lot.
I loved it.
When I just watched
because it was very
really hard.
Because it was very hard. Yeah, I only ever did it with Yoshimitsu.
Yeah,
I could only do it with Yoshimitsu. I was like, oh god, because I was so used to it compared to everyone else.
Yeah, you could know his moves.
Like,
yeah,
okay, like,
health amps on the floor like the 4 chickens, and you pick it up and you go chicken.
It's such a good like idea though, and just like taking the fighting aspect and putting it in a different way.
Yeah. But like, Tekken have always tried to do it. I've always tried to add like an additional mode that's like extends the gameplay past just the like a one-on-one.
Because obviously a lot of a lot of fighting games do it now. Mortal Kombat does it now as well, where like they dunk everything into like the story mode, and they'll have like the big story mode that's only like an hour and a half long, but it's got like a lot of cutscenes and stuff that explain the story and the stuff that's happening.
Yeah, like
and
cinematic.
Tekken 8 did that as well, where they had like the big story and you play as certain characters throughout the story, sort of thing. But in the older games, it didn't have that. It just had arcade, and then when you'd beat arcade, you get an ending. But that ending wasn't always canon. It was just like a random ending that they put in there.
Yeah.
Some of them were great.
That was all the modes for free, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was like survival and time attack and stuff, but the main ones were like
there's just variations.
Tekken Ball and Tekken
yeah.
Force, yeah. And you had to complete it like 4 times.
Yeah, it's for different characters and different like character skins as well.
Yeah.
But Andrew, what was the story of Tekken 3? We said the premise was all based on the tournament.
Gather round, my son. And
Specifically free around.
So Tekken 3 was basically after Tekken 2, Heihachi threw Kazuya in the volcano, as you do.
Yeah.
And
Classic
one of the
name.
other fighters, Jun Kazama, had Kazuya's baby. So at some point they had big sex before he was thrown into the volcano.
During while it's been thrown into the volcano. On the way down.
So you think he's dead and stuff, and then Heihachi gets his company back because I think Kazuya had it. That's what it was all about.
Yeah.
So that's why Heihachi won, and then he establishes a Tekken Force, and they go to Central America and they dig up Ogre, or they find Ogre.
Yeah.
And they sort of say that he's like a god of fighting, and he goes around and he starts killing all these like characters from the previous game.
Yeah.
One
It's
of them,
a convenient way to replace it.
Yeah, one of them was June, which is a bit. We're obviously not getting into Tekken 8 because that's just like really thrown everything out of it. But she was supposed to be dead, and this was when Jin was 15.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And without her protection, because she had like some sort of power that was good and it was keeping him pure, the devil found him and possessed him.
Yeah.
And then he went to Heihachi because he was like, I want to get revenge. I want to find whoever killed my mom. But Heihachi was like trained in, so he was kind of like a mix of both Jun and Kazuya. He had moves of both of them, which was really cool. I do actually really like Jin. I think he's great.
Yeah, he's a good main character, and he's not like goody two shoes who just wants to win a tournament like they usually are. The main characters.
Yeah, he's trained by, but Heihachi's basically using him to sort of like. And then he finds out he has the devil gene sort of thing, so he wants to kill him because he doesn't want the devil gene being passed on.
Yeah.
And it's just all like, they go and obviously all the characters fighting in the tournament, they battle and they do all these things. And then I think Paul is technically... Paul originally wins it because he's the one who beats up Ogre.
Okay.
But then... he transforms into True Ogre, and then Jin comes in and beats it up. So he wins. And then Jin's ending is the canon one, where he turns into Devil Jin for the first time, and Heihachi shoots him.
Oh, yeah.
And then
how can I forget?
Heihachi, he basically, like, he thinks he's dead, and then he turns into Devil Jin, and then Jin manages to break him out and throw him off a cliff that he survives, and then Jin flies off, and that's how like the main canon story goes for it. It's just all about them going after Ogre, and it being a very long time after Tekken 2. It's 19. I think it's 19 years because Jin is 19 in the game, and it says like 15 years after the events of Tekken 2. Jun is living a quiet life in this place with Jin. And then it's 4 years after that, so I think it's 19 years.
Bloody hell.
and like
Sages.
Heihachi puts him in his school, and that's how he meets Ling Xiaoyu. And that's why she's there.
I get why it's that long, because they wanted Jin to be old.
Yeah, because they wanted
fighting.
a different. Yeah, he has
Wanted
to.
the new generation, basically.
Yeah, and that's one thing.
Fights.
Obviously, once we get to the characters,
Uh-huh.
we'll go into it a bit more. But this is the best way of doing that sort of thing, where it's like, oh, the next generation of fighters are coming into it to do battle and do all this stuff. And as a comparison, Mortal Kombat X did something similar, where they were like, oh yeah, after Mortal Kombat 9, all the time got changed, and then and Raiden was just a massive dickhead, and he did stuff that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, he's fooled around.
And all these characters fucking just died for no reason at the end of 9. As much as I love 9, that really pissed me off that all these characters died. And then in X, they were just revenants.
Yeah.
They were still there as revenants sort of thing, but like, they made a massive deal about it being like the next generation of fighters. So they had like Cassie Cage, who was Sonya and Johnny's daughter, because they were the only two like survivors of Mortal Kombat 9 on the good side.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh yeah, look, this character's it. This is Kung Jin, who's, you know, like Kung Lao, but it's like Kung Lao's nephew or cousin or something. And then you've got Takeda, who's the son of Kenshi, but he's done this. And then you have Jackie Briggs, who's Jax's child, but then they were in it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what was the point
It's
in that?
like,
Why are you
wow.
bringing the next generation in it, but then putting those in it because they're the classic characters?
Because he tried to please,
So-
like, he tried to do something new, but then still keep old fans happy, didn't he? So,
Yeah.
so
So yeah,
Shut
that's what they
it
did
down.
with that, but they didn't do that with this.
no.
They actually did it really well, I think. I bring in.
I think
like,
if you're
new-
gonna bring in new stuff, you need to stick to it. You need to just like stick to your
Yeah.
guns sort of thing. But I guess in older games, it's easier to do that because it was like older games they'd make in a year or two, and they just like do it like because
Yeah.
the vision would be there. Nowadays, there's so much like money in it. You like have to make loads of big choices.
Yeah,
where you're
it's true.
scared of losing money and stuff. So it's a different time, Andrew. But yeah, we'll get on to the characters now.
Yes, and a lovely roster.
I mean, we talked a bit about the story of Jin and Heihachi and Ogre and stuff because they're like the ones involved in the main story,
Yeah, they're the main
like
the main ones.
the main guys.
But we also have like we said this, so we were gonna do this in a way because like it says returning characters. You've got Anna Williams, you've got Heihachi, you've got Lei Wulong, you've got Nina Williams, Paul Phoenix, and Yoshimitsu.
Mm-hmm.
But then under new characters, it's like, oh, King's here, but King's are like in all of them. But
Yeah.
why he's new is because Ogre killed the other king, so this new king is now king.
Yeah,
It was like his tag team partner.
yeah.
Like
And Armor
Armor
King was
King.
another separate one, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Just
this
to
is
make
the
it
new
even more
king that-
confusing.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah. Armor King trained this one after the old one died.
Yeah.
And then Kuma is new in this one as well. It's a completely different Kuma. It's
Sure.
I don't think it's related, but no, it's a different Kuma. And then ever
Well,
since
Kuma
then,
just
it's been
means
the same
bad,
one.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But we also that was returning characters, so we got over those, and then we've got Law, but like Law is his son, so it technically is a new character.
Law's
This is-
who's on?
Law
Okay.
Law is the son of Law.
just get European again, because it's very confusing.
Yeah, Law. I was gonna say it was like Martial Law was the original, and then
Yeah.
this one's Forest Law.
Forest Law.
Then you have Jin. Jin, who's the son of Kazuya and June.
Yeah.
Julia, who is the adopted daughter of Michelle, who was in 2. And she was like, I don't know, like, Julia's like, she's in like, sort of like Native American sort of like attire
Yeah.
sort of thing. She's got like the bands and like the patterns on her from it.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle was that sort of person, but I think Julia's like she's like an activist sort of thing, I think, from what I
Okay.
remember. and she was trying to like she's doing it to sort of save the world, sort of thing.
Yeah, save the land.
It's all about, yeah, she's trying to do it and she's trying to protect it and preserve it. Ogre, obviously, we talked about. He's a big Central American god.
Yeah, he's the main sort of antagonist beyond Heihachi because he's sort of like an old god they brought back.
And it's all about killing him.
In his last fight, he is like an Aztec god, and he's all in the armor and stuff. And then in the second stage of his fight, he absorbs Heihachi's power and goes all.
Yeah, it depends on who you're playing as. If you're playing as if you're playing as everyone else, it's Heihachi. But if you play as Heihachi, it's Jin.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's the devil gene he absorbs or whatever.
But yeah, then he transforms into True Ogre because he absorbs like the power. I think that's the whole point of it. He's going around and killing people to absorb their fighting ability to evolve and then become like the most powerful god. Yeah. But Heihachi woke him up because he was trying to control him, and that always goes well.
Yeah. I was going to say as well about Forest Law because we sort of like glanced past him. He's the Bruce Lee inspired character, like his predecessor, basically.
Yeah.
Because
who else have we got?
Because he's another inspired character like that. Is it Lei?
Yeah, Lei Wulong.
He's like a Jackie Chan inspired cop character.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Was he only in this one, or was he like in another one?
Who, Lei?
Yeah.
No, Lei's in most of them.
Oh, is he? Because I don't really see him featured that much, so I wasn't sure.
No, he's not in the new one, but he has been in a lot of them.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can't remember his story, but he was like, was he like investigating the Heihachi machine, like undercover or something?
Yeah, I think so. I can't fully remember his story. I just remember him being there.
Yeah.
And then you've got like the Williams sisters.
Yeah.
Nina is under the control of Ogre, I think, in this game. That's sort of like ringing some vague bells, and then Jin manages to knock her out of it.
Was there something to do with Anna as well? Wasn't she like in a lab or something? Was she like in like a tube? She was in like
I don't remember.
She was in like some sort of like thingy tube.
Because they're like they're assassins, aren't they? They're assassins.
Yeah,
they're like super soldier assassins.
Yeah, they're like kind of like Black Widow sort of thing.
Yeah,
I think they're like enhanced. And Anna always wears like a fucking ball gown.
She's always wearing like a dress, like a tight fitting dress and stuff.
And she's doing these like high kicks and like the texture of the dress is just like stretched.
It would always stretch, and it was like I had a tiger on the side of it. It just like pulled it really far.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I can't remember what Anna's story was in 3, but I think it was basically like sleeper agent sort of thing.
Would he like one looking after the other, and then if you play the other one, they were like looking for the other one sort of thing, like looking for each other?
They're basically trying to kill each other. That's always their thing.
Yeah, I remember that. They're like rivals.
Was it this one where like I'm having vague recollections of them being on a beach, and this might have been another game. And then like they had a glass or something, and they shot the glass or something.
No, it was
yeah.
And there's like hugs come up to.
Yeah. Or they one of them gets pushed into the pool, or something ridiculous happens.
Yeah.
Paul's obviously back. Paul's like a regular as well. A lot of these are regulars now. But Paul's one
she doesn't get pushed in the pool, she merely runs off with the hunks Anna does, and then that's the end of the
What about Nina's though? I think Nina's...
I don't know, I need to look at these. It's probably something like that.
Nina's is like the opposite of that, so something bad happens to
Oh no,
Nina's.
They're in the snow. In like a grave site.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Graveyard.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
And then it ends on Anna smiling, and then just the ending of these endings is really. Yeah, sorry. Which one were you saying?
Paul.
Oh, Paul. Yeah, Paul. He was like the bad dude, wasn't
he? Yeah, and he's just like
erect hair.
Is it? It's either him or Law wants to open a restaurant. I think it's
because weren't they mates?
Yeah, they were best friends.
Best mates in it.
Well, which one is it? Forest Law, there you go. We'll get there eventually. Forest Law is in this contest because his dad was in an accident, a biking accident. And he's trying to win the money for that. And I think Paul wants to help with that, or he wants to open a restaurant, and then he thinks he's won the contest, and then he doesn't because he doesn't kill Prue Ogre.
Yeah.
He only kills Ogre. Well, he beats Ogre up, and then he leaves.
And it's like, my job's
job
done.
well done.
Yeah.
I love his eyebrows. They're very ladder match.
Yes, they are.
I can't deal with Nina's face in this preview either. Then Yoshimitsu's like... I remember his ending because you told me about it the other day, but like I can't remember his reasoning of being there.
Was it because he's all themed around helping Dr. Boskonovich with something? Is he trying to help him not die or something? Because he's like all ill.
Yeah, he's just all like decrepit and old. And
Really
I think it's to do that. I think he wants like the ogre's blood to help Dr. Boskonovich. I think that's what it is, because then in his ending he puts it on the rat.
Yeah,
the rat
he gives it to a rat to eat, and then the house explodes and the rat jumps out of it.
Yeah,
and as they like run off.
But then there's something about Brian as well. Like Brian's made by a rival doctor. Brian's a new character as well at this point. This is his first.
Was he new in this? Was this his first one?
And
is it ever explained? Isn't Yoshimitsu from space?
No.
Is he not?
No, Yoshimitsu's the same one from Tekken, from Soul Calibur. It's the same guy.
Well, yeah, but I meant like, his backstory? Isn't he from like space?
No, he's just very, very old. They called like the space ninjas or something though. Yeah. That's
why I'm confused, because space is definitely mentioned in there somewhere.
No, they said that in Soul Calibur, one of the Soul Caliburs, I think it's 3. It's a different Yoshimitsu, and it's this one.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know how. Maybe it's to do.
Yeah,
with
trying to like
something.
figure out all the different versions of each character is very confusing.
Yeah. But yeah, it does have something to do with space ninjas or the ninja space.
So I remember reading in the manual something like that, and I've been like, "Whoa, that's well cool."
Yeah, because I thought he was a robot at first.
Yeah, I thought it was like a space robot ninja samurai. Because all the shit.
Yes, it's also known as Space Ninja, Mechanized Space Ninja. Because I thought he was a robot because like his hand would rotate. Basically, because he had a fake arm.
Oh, classic.
Of course.
Oh yeah, and you had Ling Xiaoyu.
Yeah, Ling Xiaoyu was new, and she was Jin's friend, and she just wanted the theme park. That's all she wanted.
She was basically Japanese schoolgirl, martial artist who wanted a theme park.
Yeah, she's what is she?
What is she?
She's Chinese.
Yeah, I would guess with the name, but I wasn't too sure.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I was going to say, yeah, her ending was all like...
all anime.
Yeah, it was all anime. And she has Panda as a pet. Panda was a new character.
Yeah, Panda was like a best mate.
Yeah, Panda's just an alternate costume to Kuma, but now they're in all the more recent games, they're all like, they're actually separate character slots.
Separated in different movesets.
But they usually have the same moveset, and I think it was in 8 that they changed it. Because he's got like Heihachi's power.
Of course.
He's like got like Heihachi's like Gion.
Oh yeah.
In Tekken 8. But Kuma 2 loves Panda, and he always tries to like marry her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she doesn't have it.
I saw the ending on here where Ling and Panda are coming out of the school at like closing time, and you think Kuma's going to attack him because you see the shadow, and then like he comes from behind the wall and just offers him flowers, but then doesn't move, and they just sort of ignore him and walk up, and he's just there, still frozen. And that's the ending. It's like, okay.
So yeah, like Panda is Ling Xiaoyu's pet, And then
Yeah.
Ling Xiaoyu is friends with Jin. They meet in the school and stuff. And then she just wants in this one, she just wants a theme park. In the later ones, it's all about like she wants to help Jin. She wants to bring out the goodness of him because she knows he's still good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like obviously like hinted at that they love each other.
Yeah. Probably.
But especially in Tekken Tag, like they had a lot of like weird. There was a lot of weird endings in that, but like all their endings sort of resulted in them being sort of like awkward together at school.
All right.
But yeah, her ending is like, yeah, it's all anime, and she's like picturing it, and it's like, oh yeah, there's Ling Xiaoyu land, and then it gets revealed that it turns out Heihachi's made it. It's called Heihachi land.
Yeah, like the sign falls off, and then all the riders
Yeah.
got his face on.
Yeah.
You just start laughing.
And then she gets mad at him and beats him up.
Yeah. The endings of Tekken are like nothing else. In the fighting games are just like the most randomest thing.
They are.
Because they'll give you like a fucking minute-long snippet, and it'll be like, well, I've learned nothing.
Yeah. We've got Eddie.
Oh yeah, Eddie.
Eddie Gordo.
Eddie Gordo.
Brazilian capoeira fighter.
Yeah. Is he the one everyone like says is like the most spammy character?
Yes, because you can just like press like you can just keep pressing buttons and you'll just do like different things every time, and it's like
The friend of me who couldn't remember the button combos, I just smash all the buttons and just look really good doing it.
I think Eddie was Adam's favorite new character in this. I remember him really liking Eddie.
Yeah, really cool.
I don't know what his story was though. I don't know what his involvement in Tekken 3 was. I know his story later on.
There's a prison breakout in his cutscene, in the opening cuts.
Because he's not in 4. He was replaced by Christie, and I think he's back in prison.
Oh, yeah.
So he must get caught.
Eddie, what did you do?
I really liked Eddie. I think he's a really cool character. He's
Yeah, really
an interesting
fighting style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xiaoyu's was. It was a lot of like. It was really interesting because like it was a lot of like obviously arm movements and stuff because of the way that her fighting style is, and then she could sort of like reverse herself when she could sort of fight backwards.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Kuma and Panda just sort of like smack the shit out of everything.
Yeah, just smash you down and bear hugs and shit.
Yeah, they have a salmon swipe move, and it's just like the most funny thing I ever seen. It's just like it does that classic like Tekken sound effect where it's like when it happens. And you see like they always have like that weird sort of like effect on screen, don't they, when there's like a big hit, and it depending on the character and what the move is, it's like a weird one. It was like a big just like red orb. It's like, oh, there goes the blood.
Just slap the shit out of you.
Hwoarang
was he friends with Eddie?
No, he was friends with Jin. He was a rival of
because
Jin's.
I'm going off based off the opening cutscene where Eddie breaks out of prison and Hwoarang's out on his bike, like waiting for him.
Maybe they were. I don't know.
Maybe they were in this game only. I don't know.
But yeah, he was at school with Jin, and like
because they were like
rival
sort of rivals, weren't they? Yeah.
But he was the not apprentice. He was the student of Beck from 2, and when I completely forgot about Beck because obviously I only played Tekken 2 very briefly in Spain.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that, and then it turns out that like Beck's supposed to have died and stuff. He didn't, but like he was supposed to have died during that point.
Yeah.
And he was the replacement for Beck, sort of thing. So that was another, new character replacing the old.
Yeah. Next generation sort of thing. So yeah, because Hwoarang was was new in this one, wasn't he?
I don't really use him a lot. I didn't really like.
I liked him a lot when I first played it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about kicks and keeping them up because he does like Taekwondo. Is it Taekwondo?
Yeah, and he can Taekwondo.
Yeah.
But you can like juggle people because you can do that kick where you just kick directly upwards and you just go flying in the air and you could just keep like trying to juggle. It just gets ridiculous.
I remember like Jason would come over and we'd play Tekken tag together, and he'd just use Beck and Huang together, and it was just like, okay.
I think I remember that. I remember
Just like,
at some point playing each other and him just fucking comboing you.
Julia's is interesting because again, like she has Michelle's like moveset sort of thing. But like they were very sort of like heavy hitters, like kind of like, you know, like how Kuma and Panda do like the smack and then like the left and right sort of smack. They do that and stuff and had like a lot of grapple moves. So I don't know what their actual fighting style was supposed to be. See what it says.
It was to protect Mother Earth, not to destroy.
Yeah, because I noticed that before. Like,
it is.
She's got like, she's what? Is that fighting style? I was going to say because they use a friggin' Death Valley driver on someone before, and I was like, I know how to move. Where like on the shoulders, then you like drop them on the neck.
It says Chan Kempo, Baji Kwan, and wrestling throws.
Yeah. Because someone will just be like
in there somewhere.
Straight up martial arts, and then they'll just do like a grappling glass, just the wrestling.
Who else have we got? Who are we missing? Oh, Gunjack.
Let's see. Oh, hang on, let me go from the start. Hang Eddie. We talked about King. Talked about Lei, Jin.
We kind of talked about King. He just said, oh yeah, he's the
oh yeah, we
didn't
go into detail. He's
wrestler.
He's the new king. He's the wrestler guy.
He's the new king. Yeah, he does a lot of grapples and like you can.
Based off.
I don't know about.
Based off real wrestler Tiger Mask from Japan, who's like a legendary wrestler who's been like about 5 different wrestlers under the same mask. They've been like Tiger Mask too and stuff.
He does a lot of grapples and stuff, and you can chain them together, and he has some interesting moves.
Yeah, like the friggin'. What's he called? The shoulder buster where he has him on the shoulder and he holds the legs and he jumps in the air.
Oh yeah. I think he has a move where he like sort of grapples them and like he does it in such a way that like they just start rolling around on the floor.
Yeah. just rolling around. Yeah, he's up to fun to play as. He can do his things.
Yeah, I do like King.
Was Armor King in this game as well?
No.
Was he just no?
It was just King, yeah. Because they did in Tekken 2's ending of Armor King. He again, I think that's another case of there was an Armor King and then there was a second Armor King who came back in 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Because the Armor King always had like one red eye, and he just like in his Tekken 2 ending, he just started bleeding from his eye.
Oh no!
So I think he
just
too
red.
Like, articular cancer.
Well, wrestling will do that. What?
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, Gunjack, you mentioned.
Yes. Gunjack is just like obviously the evolution of Jack 2. There's always a new gun, a new Jack in every game. And they all just play essentially the same, you know, like the very heavy hitters, the grapplers.
Big blocky cyborg man.
Yeah, but Gunjack was different because he had like the ability to actually shoot. He didn't shoot bullets or anything, but like he had like cannon powered arms and stuff.
Yeah.
I really liked him. I thought he's probably my favorite iteration of Jack because sometimes I look at him and like, hello.
Sorry, I was just watching the footage of him just like launch himself into the air like with his arms outstretched and just stomping on him.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
But it's just the fact that he just rose into the air like Jesus.
I like that he's like unfinished.
Yeah.
He's not fully like covered in skin.
Lovely. Yeah, because that's his default thing, but then he can unlock his other like more Jack themed outfit, can't you? What was he saying? Didn't he like later on? He was like loads of Jacks. So he like got militarized where he's like hundreds of them, like in an army.
They did that in 2. They were all militarized, and then this one, I think, because in Tekken 2 for Jack 2, one of them finds this little girl, and he doesn't kill it, and he kills all the other Jacks. And I think that's supposed to be this one. Like she upgrades him into the next Jack.
Yeah.
And he's like the only good Jack, basically.
They should call it that. Good Jack.
Good
Instead
Jack.
of Gun Jack. It's the only good Jack.
Who else have we got?
Let's see what we've got. We've got
Mokujin. Yeah.
Of course.
Our wooden friend. I remember me and Adam would always joke it because you obviously like you had the alternate costumes, and then for Mokujin it was kind of like hard to do. So they did like a male and female variant of Mokujin, so we'd call the female Mokujin.
Mokujin. For God's sake. Isn't Mokujin's whole thing that it's essentially like a joke on a training dummy that is actually a playable character?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't it swap between its fight, like what character it is, its fighting moves are?
Yeah, it's just random.
It just like cycles between them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just like, oh my goodness.
It's actually really a funny like idea for a character. Was it in like older ones?
No, that was his first appearance.
How was it?
And then in Tekken Tag there was like, I think it was Tetsujin, and it was just like a gold version of him.
Of course.
But he became like a staple for a while. He was in a lot of them. You wouldn't think so. You think, oh, it's just a random joke character.
Yeah, like an unlockable side character.
But
like it does that.
I really liked it.
They'll just introduce like a stupid character, and then like the fans will love it. So
yeah,
like, make it. Really...
It's like that's why I was surprised that Roger and Alex weren't in it, but obviously we get something else.
Yes.
But Mokujin's ending is so good. I love Mokujin's ending. He's just playing Tekken in the forest. Like, and then it's just like, his mum comes up to him all angry and just like uppercuts him, and it just ends. I said there's something to do with the bucket in there as well. I think he was supposed to go and get water and he didn't, or something. It was something like that.
Yeah. I also like if he gets if he has Yoshimitsu style, he has a wooden sword.
Yeah, he does.
Which is really cool. Who's left? I think it's just.
We haven't really talked. Well, there's a couple.
We didn't talk about.
Yeah, we've mentioned him, but I didn't really like Brian that much. I think it was more later on where I started to enjoy him a bit more. Yeah. I just didn't really understand what his purpose was or what he was, because he just looked kind of like a biker guy, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna look up real quick what his story was in Tekken 3 because I don't know.
Is he undead at this point, or is he?
Yeah, because I didn't know that. We looked that up the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And it's just like it says even in the official strategy guide, Daniel, part man, part cop, all zombie.
Wow, what a
like, I didn't know he was undead. I knew, yeah, I thought he was like, you know, like an
army.
What do you call, like army, or you know, like a cop that's not defected, but you know what I mean. They've gone bad.
Yeah.
Brian Fury, an officer of the International Police Organization,
so narrows it down,
was killed in a shootout in Hong Kong. Brian's corpse was transported to the laboratory of a man named Dr. Abel. This 88-year-old scientist was fairly famous in the underground society, but his findings were often preceded by Dr. Boskonovich's. However, at last, he came to this last step of completing his master project, the Cyborg Army. Dr. Abel thought a perfect cyborg must have the mechanics built by his rival, Dr. Boskonovich. So he reanimated Fury's body and sent him to collect this data. So that's what he was there for.
Fair enough. I do know in his ending he picks up a tank, or the top of a tank, and
yeah. He starts like killing off the. He starts killing off all the Tekken Force soldiers.
The Tekken Force.
Yeah, Lei Wulong was there to do something to do with the Hong Kong drug trade.
Oh yeah, classic.
And then Brian was connected to them, and he was in there to find Yoshimitsu because he had ties to Dr. Boskonovich. So that was right. There was involvement in there, but I just didn't understand it because then in 5, like Yoshimitsu and Brian are trying to kill each other, and Yoshimitsu like in his ending kills him because he kills Dr. Boskonovich.
Oh, okay.
That's how he dies. He doesn't die from his naughty,
Cough.
stupid. Yeah.
And his bad bag.
Yeah. Because so
Let's talk about Dr. Bosconovich.
Yeah, because I don't know much about Brian's moveset to be able to like justify what.
No.
Dr. Bosconovich was.
Hit.
Yeah. I know he has that he'd slam down on them, and if they hit the floor,
like
you could like grab him, and then he'd do his laugh. Dr. B, as it says here, he was unlockable in Tekken Force Mode, and you have to fucking complete it like I think 3 times, but then you'd have to do it again because you needed the keys. That was the whole thing. You'd have to go through each level.
I thought it was 10 times you have to beat it. It was so stupid.
No. It was 3.
It felt like 10 times.
Yeah, because there was 4 levels in each one, and then at the end of it, you would unlock Dr. Bosconovich, but you had to beat him in a fight to be able to do it. And because his moveset is so stupid, and he basically just like punch and everything, and then he'd just fall over.
Yeah, he'd be essentially prone on the floor most of the time.
And I was just like, for God's sake, get up! But while he was on the floor, he could kick you and do all these like weird moves.
Then roll out of the way and just fart.
Yeah.
He burped.
No. Gon fired.
Sure did. So yeah, Dr. Bosconovich was like the last character you'd unlock, and he just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, and it was just on the floor, and he was like another joke character basically, but I just hated playing as him, and
I mean, yeah,
he was really annoying to beat.
Interesting moveset.
Yeah, but it was a pain in the ass to beat in Tekken Force, and that was the way to unlock him. So it was just like, okay, great, because he'd be on the floor, and it's like obviously like a weird angle to it, because it's like from the side, it's like a 2D side scroll fighter. And it's just like, I can't hit him.
I can't. He's too old and decrepit.
And then he'd just kick you, and you'd just be dead. And there was no, because it was just like him at the end of in an arena, so there was just no.
He had like a little device in his hand that zap you as well.
Yeah, yeah, he did, didn't he? I forgot about
that. A little remote control thing. And he'd tase you with it.
I think he was. I'm pretty sure. I think all of them were in Tekken Tag, but like I remember him being there and being easy to unlock, sort of thing. But like.
Yeah.
I don't remember him falling over as much in that.
No, he probably toned it down a bit because they realised how fucking annoying he was. And then we've got. Sorry, go on.
2 more, Daniel.
Go on.
First, we have Gon.
I was gonna say Gon because we mentioned him.
Yeah. He was a little dinosaur friend from some series.
Yeah, he was from an actual outside series. That's why he's never been seen again.
Yeah.
He's never been seen or gone. In Tekken Ball mode.
Yeah, that's how you unlocked him. But he was basically the Roger and Alex of the game. He had boxing gloves on, and he'd make really intense noises when you'd hit him. And he was really small, so it made him hard to hit.
He was a pain in the ass to fight.
And then, but he'd do like all these like jumping moves and tail swipes and stuff and fart.
Yeah, just like Yoda. He's like Yoda, really.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He's hard to hit, jumped
old.
around, farted.
That's how he got around. He wasn't using force jump.
Levitates off the ground.
And he, his ending just repeated.
Yeah, because Gon didn't have a story. He was just there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he set up some of the characters, but his ending didn't clear anything up. It just was on a loop.
Yeah, just like loops, and he'd like jump up. He was he trying to fly, and then he'd fall in the water, and then he'd go back and run and through the forest and jump again. And
he'd ride a fish, he'd get picked up by a bird, he'd be in the air, and then he'd fall and land. Yeah, it's just like that.
It just kept going.
It never ended. And that was Gon. Gon didn't have a real purpose.
No, it was just like he wasn't even on the character select screen. Like he was off on the side of the character select screen. You'd have to go off the screen to get him.
Yeah.
Once you unlocked him.
Very much a bonus, a Brucey bonus.
And the last one is Tiger. And he was just a costume swap of Eddie, but he was like a disco man. So I
was confused because I looked on the little character thing list and I was like, oh yeah, it's just King. Because I put Tiger King. I was like, why is he on the end? Forgetting like Tiger was his own character.
Yeah, Tiger is just like yeah, he just appears.
He was just the Disco Stew version of Eddie.
Yeah, he was, and then his ending was him just like on the stage dancing.
Yeah.
He's at a disco club dancing to 70s music, and then it ends when he strikes the pose. And he doesn't have an official story or anything. He's just there.
Yeah, he's just here to dance, baby.
And he's just like a palette swap with Eddie. But then in Tekken Tag he has his own character slot and stuff. But like it's just another like Anna and Nina sort of thing. But I think Anna and Nina do have their own unique moves, but they are still separate
I think they did, yeah.
Same with like Puma.
Puma.
Panda and Kuma together. Puma.
That's that child's called. Puma. And we mentioned Heihachi and Aoga during the story and stuff. You know what they're about.
Yeah.
So it's the characters.
Well, who are your favourite, Daniel?
Yoshimitsu, obviously.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite bud? Yoshimitsu. I like Hwoarang a bit. I think I'd appreciate King now more.
Yeah.
With all his moves and stuff. Obviously, Jin was always solid if you get like his really good moves off.
Yeah.
It was really random that you got to play as like true ogre because like you could play through game mode with him, and you just like level everyone.
All the backgrounds were just like blacked out. If you played as true ogre, they were all just like it was just like a light around the two characters.
Like you fight a slightly red version in the final battle if you play as true ogre.
I know, yeah.
So just battering each other.
I'd say like obviously Yoshimitsu was my main. I like playing as Jin. I really like playing as Ogre, to be honest. He was an interesting character to play as.
Yeah, Ogre was cool.
I remember him like having like really weird noises though when you'd hit him.
Yes. It's a bit creepy.
Yeah. Because like you knew that he was like a god sort of thing, but like was he really, or was he just like some sort of weird demon or mutation or something?
Yeah. Could have been an experiment, you never know. In these games.
Yeah.
Could even be an old character brought back. It wouldn't surprise me.
He was mentioned in 8, but I don't think he was fightable or playable or anything in 8.
Yeah.
Because it was all about like Jin was trying to awaken his true power to fight Kazuya.
Yeah.
And he went back to where June died, and she wasn't actually in the story, as far as I'm aware. But she had like roles in the story, so they made her a playable character. But then right at the end of it, when they do their big showdown, and then Jin beats up Kazuya, he becomes he fully embraces it, and he has like white wings instead of his black wings. You see her feet like standing by Kazuya, so it's like, oh, she is alive then.
No, just her feet.
Just her feet. It just like zooms out. And it's just a pair of shoes.
I kept these as a keepsake for my mother.
So it's like, oh, okay, well, she was alive all this time, then she's just been hiding somewhere. Because in Tekken, like... I don't know which one it was. In Tekken 7, like Jin started like World War 3.
Oh yeah. Classic
and then like
Jin.
in 8, he's just like, oh yeah, thanks. I learned the errors of my ways.
Time for World War 4. But yeah, we're now moving on to the graphics, Andrew.
Graphic. I think for its time, it was really nice.
I was about to say, like, watching it now, obviously it's like really blocky when it zooms in. But like when you're like playing it like side on, like not close, I think it looked pretty good. The texture did pretty well for the time.
Yeah, the environments were really nice.
I know the version I'm watching on YouTube now is like obviously they've polished up on an emulator because it's like really smooth. But like, I don't think it's bad at all. Really, no, I liked I thought it was quite clever because the way you move side to side in battle, the backgrounds are like parallax, like it's just a PNG or something. Like a square that surrounds like the floor you're on, that like pans around with you.
Yeah, it's really well done.
Like more 3D, even though obviously they're completely like flat backgrounds, which I noticed before. I thought that was really interesting.
you can never get to the edge of them.
Yeah.
You just keep running and you just keep going. It's funny.
You can tell when you sort of look at the floor, like towards the wall, it sort of looks like it goes down or like it moves not with the wall. It's really interesting how to see it, but it's like really cleverly done for the PS1.
And they're obviously like a lot of the characters had like unique animations for their ending. It wasn't just like a CG cutscene of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, Ling Xiaoyu has like the anime style, and then what was it? I think Mokujin's is like really weird because it's like realistic looking. It looks like it's in an actual forest.
I think it is. I'm sure it is.
People dressed up as Mokujin and the other Mokujins.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is. Something weird like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like when you look at the character movement, the characters, like obviously because it's a fighting game, they've really honed it down where they move like really smoothly.
Yeah.
Obviously, graphics wise, the like legs and stuff will like clip through each other loads, but that's PS1 era stuff.
Because it was weird, because like obviously it was still a couple of years away from PS2.
Yeah.
So it was at a good point, and it was really like incredible seeing that in that era. Because then when you got to Tekken Tag, when you look at all the characters, they look they look good, but they look off. There's just something off about them, and they're just basically essentially taking the Tekken 3 models and like smooth them out, obviously giving them more polygons and
which
stuff.
isn't obviously going to work because it was designed for a console. Like, you couldn't see things as clear on. So yeah, you notice that a lot when you see like emulated PS1 games and you like upscale them and they just don't look right because they weren't meant to be upscaled. They were meant for a certain like TV screen, like CLT
the way
screen.
that Tekken Tag was, it was just like a weird, obviously, because they just like put every character. It was very ambitious.
Yeah.
Because like Mortal Kombat Trilogy did it, but obviously that was just a 2D fight, and a lot of them at the time were just like palette swaps of each other, especially the ninjas and stuff. And Tekken had that too.
Yeah.
But
so
then
I'm
when
just
you got to
watching
Tekken
Mokujin's
Tag,
ending, and it's a real forest.
I would just like to confirm it is a real forest.
It is a real forest, and there are like 3 other little Mokujins playing Tekken with him. Yeah, I also noticed in the background one of them graffiti on the wall that said Soul Blade.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, and I was like, oh,
that's cool. It's funny though, because for us it was Soul Blade, and then in America it was Soul Edge.
Oh, was it Soul Edge? I don't know. I saw one. Was it one or the other?
No, I mean in just the actual game title.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know, but I can't remember that.
It's called Soul Edge.
Soul Edge.
Because that was the whole game. That's why I always wondered why we called it Soul Blade over here, because it was like, because the whole game was about finding Soul Edge.
I guess they were thinking marketing. You're like, oh, but what is Soul Edge? Let's call it Blade so people know what it actually is, sort of thing.
Yeah.
They always do stuff like that and try and make it appeal to more people.
And then obviously it got switched over to Soul Calibur. It's been Soul Calibur ever since.
Oh, that's high caliber. Yeah, any other thoughts on the graphics? No. I'd say as well the lighting was pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking of environments, but then I'm getting confused because I think a lot of them were in Tekken Tag. But then I'm getting confused with what was there. I think was King's.
This was the big ring that like it was in the sky.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't it like his mountainous ring or something?
It was in the mountains, yeah. But it was like there was no. It was like a canvas with like netting instead of an actual proper canvas, and he's like there was just a sky underneath, like it's suspended in the air.
It's like, why are you here?
How did this get built?
And then obviously you have like the like called Chichen Itza. I think it's Chichen Itza, like that sort of temple where you fight Ogre. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was Ogre. True Ogre.
True Ogre. It's alright. Get out in their ear.
Then it'd be like,
yeah.
Gun. Excuse me. What are the environments with? Eddie's was like in Brazil, wasn't it? It was like I remember that.
It was near the beach.
It
was like rocky surroundings. palm
there was
trees.
like the martial arts academy looking thing,
Yeah.
I think. And then there was like wasn't it like an alleyway fight area or something?
I think so, yeah. There was like graffiti on the wall and stuff. Or it was like an old like basketball court or something with like graffiti walls
Yeah.
around it.
And then there was like, it sounds really stupid, all I remember about it, I think it was supposed to be like the Ling Xiaoyu land area. There was like all like, she had an area there and it was just like, it was in front of the theme park. And then there was another one that was kind of bluey lighting. There was like blue steel and stuff around it, but I don't know what that was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's like one, like I think Gunjack sort of like facility or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a military complex sort of thing.
Aha. There's Harong stage as well, which was like the platform in a fighting dojo sort of arena.
Yeah, there's a few fighting dojo ones.
Yeah. And there was an indoor one maybe, like with like the sliding Japanese doors.
Yeah.
But again, I keep thinking like, oh, maybe that was in Tekken Tag because I
No,
think
I
these
see
are
it.
similar stages. Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
did
That's
you?
alright then.
I was like scrolling through and that's alright. Yeah. So going from graphics to how difficult it was or how whatnot. What was the difficulty like, Andrew?
Well, it depended on. There was a lot of factors into that, really.
How
It's not
shit
like
you were.
typical.
So for me, it was hard.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, I didn't do too bad, really. I feel like for a first
No.
fighting game, I feel like it's somewhere in the middle, but I don't think I played
I'd
it
say,
properly.
like, yeah, depending on your skill and everything, like, it took a long time. You had to do a lot of practice to learn all the characters and stuff. So, if you, like, say, like, obviously I go in Yoshimitsu and I really learned Yoshimitsu, but if I went in as Law, I'd really struggle.
Yeah.
But you were always like, I want to get every ending of every character and stuff, so you'd go through it. But Law was a really good character to use. It was just like, I just saw his face looking at me.
Alright, Andrew.
Like, you could just like do like the backflips and stuff with Law, and you just like take everything out.
Oh yeah, the frigging backflips you could do 3 in a row, and the third one you just go really high. Yeah. Like, Jesus. Come back down.
So
It's
like,
down
it
for
depended
2.
on who you were playing as. It was like, obviously, because you're not gonna like everyone, and you're not gonna be used to everyone. Certain fighting styles are gonna do it for you. And
Well, like we said before about Dr. Boskonovich, not much of an ass he was to use.
And then I think he had the same ending as Yoshimitsu.
Yeah, he didn't get. After all that, unlocking him and then playing
Yeah.
through arcade mode, and we didn't even have any unique ending. For God's sake!
Great.
But you got. I tell you what, he did get. He got bloody Yoshimitsu's armor as an outfit
Yeah, he did.
with his head little face poking out. The top.
Yeah,
And I was like,
I remember
Jesus Christ.
that.
Yeah, I got reminded of that. I was like, oh, worth it.
So yeah, it's dependent. Like, I'd always play it on normal and 2 stages and stuff, or 2 rounds.
Would you
I'd never
say?
have it
Would
as
you
more.
say? By the time you've like reached Heihachi, because I remember struggling a bit on Heihachi. Like, he was a bit of a
Heihachi was
spike.
tough, yeah.
Yeah, because I think he's always like been like an end boss vibe, even when he has been an end boss. Like,
Well, it
he's
was like
been
in
with-
Tekken 2, like the big
Yeah.
finale was Kazuya, purple Kazuya, because he was like dressed in like a purple suit or something. It was really weird. And then
He'd love
he
a
turned
suit.
into Devil after that.
Yeah. Because I think. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, you read that quiet, so I thought you'd gone. I was gonna say because I feel like Oku was hard, but it depended on who you was playing as. Because like,
Yeah.
because he'd do a lot of damage. If he hit you with like one of his special moves, it'd take like most of your health off. If he
Yeah,
like
then
grabbed you, sort of thing. But you know, one where
Truoga
it's,
could
like,
set you on fire.
Truoga grabbed you like by his mouth and just like ragged you around in it, and then slammed you down, and you'd be done.
He had a snaky arm.
He did have a snaky arm.
And you can
Like, shake
absorb
my
health with
hand.
him as well.
Yeah, you could. So
Yeah.
yes, that was the difficulty. Soundtrack entry.
Soundtrack's interesting because it was very from what I remember of Tekken 2, like the soundtrack fits what the level was.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this one,
Is it more themed to the characters?
Yeah, it's more themed to the characters. Like each character has their own theme, and then there's like the regular version, there's the arcade version of it. But it was very much like the same sort of thing throughout. It was very rocky and heavy metal-y.
Very synthy.
Yeah.
A lot of electronic-y stuff. Like I remember like seeing Fight Before, and every time I fought Brian, this song would play, and I was like, oh, what a bop.
Yeah. Then Ogre's was like very sort of like drawn out. It was like doo 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 doo. And then it had like the synth in the background. Yeah.
I heard that recently in a clip of like another game, and I was like, I know that song. And I've seen it played, but I was like, oh yeah, it's bloody Yoga's theme.
Yeah. And Ling Xiaoyu like had that little, like I said earlier, well to you earlier, I didn't see it on the recording.
Yeah.
The little do 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 do. And then it just like switched into rock. I can't remember if it was in this one or if it was, again, Tekken Tag, because it was the same thing, but there was that King one where it's like at the start of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Tekken Tag or this one though, because Peter mentioned it in one of his recordings and they put it in a worst games. He was like, do you remember this? Like King sound this, and Ben was like, yeah. And it's like, it sounds exactly like that, and then they put a clip of it. I was like, yes. But again, like I think it was this one though. I don't think it was Tekken Tag. I mean, I've got it open now. I can just double check.
Yes.
I have the soundtrack open. Where's King?
King.
Yeah, it was this one.
Okay, good.
It started straight away. I was like,
Here it comes. Did any sound like a daytime television chat show?
Ogres did, I believe.
Yes, Ogres. Yoshimitsu's.
What was Yoshimitsu's?
Did Gon have a theme?
No, I don't think so. Unless it was like part of the hidden characters, like they had that like hidden character music.
Oh, we're just watching fart, so everything's ruined.
Oh yeah, this one. I remember this was about like the hidden character. When you fought a hidden character, it was like down, 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 down.
Yes, exactly like that.
Exactly like that. Here's a clip.
just you singing that again.
Just do it and just alter it. I'd say it's a very interesting soundtrack. I really like it. It's because like in that era, I probably was kind of like iffy with it and stuff because it wasn't sort of like the music that I listened to. But
Yeah.
I think it was probably something that grew on me a lot, and then it like obviously had a lasting impression because I still remember some of them now.
You still remember, yeah, bits from it and stuff. Yeah. I do forget the soundtrack of this character screams when they die. As you know.
Oh yeah.
I never forget Jax. So,
I know. It's like,
Jesus,
right.
sorry. You're not even really fully human. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about the soundtrack.
No, I think I'd give it
good.
I'd probably give it an 8 for a soundtrack. I'd give it 5 for difficulty. It was a good middle ground.
Yeah.
And 8 for the soundtrack because it's that bop.
Let it pop. What? And then nothing else to say wise other than your last thoughts on the game, Andrew.
It really did Tekken the piss. 3 times.
No, don't. Thrice. No, yeah. As a like I said before, as like an introduction to fighting games. Obviously, I didn't really keep up playing many fighting games, but like as the first fighting game to play, it's a really solid one. It's really solid.
Yeah. I feel like a big
experience.
A big thing. Oh, because I'm like an RPG player and stuff like it. A big thing that I do follow in fighting games is the story, and a lot of people just go into it like, oh, it's just a beat 'em up and stuff. It doesn't really have an overarching story, but they always do. And it's very fascinating when you follow it along, and then as like the games go on and stuff, you're like, okay, well that canonically happened, that didn't, so that's why this character's not there, or this one is, and that and that and that. And I feel like I got very invested with the story with this one. Because of the gap between it and all the characters changing and like some of them being dead or like supposedly dead.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
I think that's the thing as well, because like back then we only had like an opening cutscene.
yeah.
The characters you fight and then their end credits, and then you didn't really know much else.
No,
Apart from what you
yeah.
read in the manual. So you were like sort of
Yeah.
filling in the gaps yourself, and it sort of made it more exciting because you were just like, well,
Yeah,
what's
it did.
happening?
And it's just like,
The
oh, I've
ending
got, what if I,
barely a minute most of the time.
yeah, so what if I complete it with Kuma? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
We find out what happens.
And then that's what happens. You're like, that fills in that gap.
It's like, can I make it through the gameplay as Ling Xiao? What's her ending like and stuff? And it's like, well, what's her role there? It's like you read it and think, oh, she's at school with Jin, but what's she actually doing here? And it's just like, she wants a theme park.
You're like, huh. It's like even the Tekken like developers were just like, oh yeah, doesn't matter. We'll come up with some at the end when you do the ending cutscene. We just wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just really, I can see why this is like one of people's favorite like Tekken games.
I feel like, not that it's like the last best one, but I feel like once Tekken 4 came around, it changed a lot in its style. And then it became heavily, it was always about the Mishimas anyway, but it became heavily about like Jin and Kazuya and
Less about sort of
Heihachi.
outside baddies, like obviously you had over in
Yeah.
this one, so it was sort of a focus.
And then in
So
5,
just Heihachi.
there was Jinpachi, who was his father.
Yeah.
And then it was all about that sort of stuff. And then 6, I don't know what 6 about. 6
I don't know,
was, I had it, I just can't remember. 7 was like that. 6 was Azazel, the
Oh,
big
yeah.
Egyptian demon thing, and I didn't really understand the purpose of it. It was just sort of like, oh look, here's another ogre style enemy that was really fucking hard to kill for no reason.
It's Azazel, Andrew. It's Azazel, Andrew.
But he, like, there was some like big shenanigans plot behind him, but like he had like Garrett covering him and stuff, and like they protect him from damage. It's just like, okay, well, this is great. This is really annoying. I don't like this.
Dirty.
And then 7 was back to Jin and stuff, and then you fought Heihachi's wife. She was the last boss, I think.
My Hachi.
So again, it was just always about those, and it was like, yeah, that's how the series started, and it was good that it kept it. But I liked it when it went batshit
Yeah.
in a good way, because like it did in 6, and then we got Azazel. But like Ogre was just a really good thing, because it was like Heihachi was still the main antagonist, but then Ogre was the true antagonist, because he'd gone around killing all these people. But Heihachi was trying to use him to get stuff, and then Heihachi got absorbed by him, and he turned into true ogre and stuff, and it was like, ah!
Classic bad guy overestimating his own abilities and getting it
Yeah.
turned around on him. His ogres had much on him, because when he picks him up in the last battle, he just like fades to white, so you don't know what he does to him.
Yeah,
Just snip him.
and it does that little, like, guitar riff.
It's like, it's true ogre come flying in.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at my snake hand.
I'd like to shake your barber hand.
Comes in like, what's he called in South Park? Scuzzabot. It just had like TV's Patrick Duffy for a leg. So hi kids, I'm TV's Patrick Duffy. But with a snake for an arm instead.
Yeah. Can you think of a famous TV snake? Let us know. And that could be ogre's arm.
Famous TV snake.
What a way to end it. Oh yeah, Andrew, how many otters would you give it?
Oh.
I don't think we did this last time, I just sort of edit it in randomly.
Oh, at least 900 otters out of 10.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Good luck adding 900 otters onto the screen.
Oh, I never do anyway, I just put the number. I'm not dealing with that.
I'd say, I don't know. What would you say?
At least 90 out of 10, Andrew. Let's not go crazy. 90 out of 10.
Let's get 90 out of 10.
There's no
So
need
what
to
are your
be
thoughts on it?
silly
What,
about it.
Okay.
What?
So what are your thoughts on it? And then you told me not to be silly, so I was like, okay.
Well, it sort of started cutting you out, so I just had to go, I don't know. It's reached that time, he's having an attack.
It sounded like that because of the way you did it and the way that it was cutting out on the microphone. Like you were like, you know, when you fast forward something, it's like, it's like you sounded down the microphone. It's like, how's he done that?
I'm the power of my own voice.
So, let us know your thoughts on Tekken 3. Did you play Tekken 3? Who was your main in Tekken 3? Did you like Tekken 4? Did you like Tekken Force? Is it your favourite in the series? Did you really enjoy Dr. Boskonovich? How many times did you cycle through Gon's ending before you realised it was on a loop?
Before you realised you were a fool. But let us know below. And yes, don't forget to follow us on social media, Bound by Pixels. Don't forget to sub to the channel if you haven't already.
Yes, at current standing, we're at 102 subs.
We are. We've crossed the 100 mark. We're trying to keep going. We're
trying to claw our way up.
We need to get to 150. But yeah, thank you. We've got other bias reviews. We have Gold and Silver. We have a Rogue Galaxy. We have Dance Boys 4. And all the ones that I haven't put in the playlist because we don't talk about them.
And we also do rank ups. So if you like ranking.
Yes, if you like tier lists, we've just done a massive Sonic Zone one.
Yes.
Please check that out.
And check out our other series. And don't forget to come over to my channel at DrewGamer to subscribe.
Check out Andrew for all his RPG goodness.
Yes, and if you want some commissions done, go to danjisdesigns.com.
Yes, I'll see if I can fit you in.
Slap you right in now.
Also, you can buy prints on my store.
Yeah.
Part of the aforementioned website. But yeah, don't forget to follow us on social media, Bound by Pixels and DrewGamer and Danji Designs. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye 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 bye.
Tekken.